Arthel, we are now just 2 days away from a major meeting about the Biden family business dealings. FBI Director Christopher Wray is set to speak with House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer on Wednesday. That is 1 day after the deadline that Comer gave him to share an internal document. A whistleblower claims that the document shows then Vice President Biden was involved in a criminal scheme with a foreign national. For more on this, joining us now is Jonathan Turley, Fox News contributor and a GWU law professor and a constitutional law attorney. Jonathan, thanks for your time today. So look, this meeting is going to happen on Wednesday, right after, James Comer and Republicans were potentially pitching the idea of holding Christopher Wray in contempt of Congress if he didn't start cooperating. What do you think is going to come out of this meeting, if anything?
Well, most expectations is that Wray is going to hold the line and resist revealing this document. Their argument is that this document contains the type of raw allegations that come over the transom or through sources, sometimes anonymous sources. The problem with the FBI's position is that it is also being investigated, that one of the concerns among many in the American people is that they believe that the FBI has been politically compromised for years. And polls indicate that that is not changing. And whether you agree with that or not, it suggests that your approach needs to change. That is, the only way to reverse those numbers is to give greater transparency. There's another issue here that supports Congress. Yes, the FBI investigates crime, but one of the functions of the Congress in oversight is to look at corruption. That includes things that may not be criminal, but are corrupt. Influence peddling is the favorite form of corruption in Washington. And in this case, the Bidens have been accused of millions of dollars coming from foreign interests, some closely associated with foreign intelligence. This document's part of that investigation. I think that Wray's got to look at that context and say this is not the usual, push and shove from Congress. There's a need here to be more transparent.
And let's take a listen to Congressman James Comer, again, the chairman of the Oversight Committee, in terms of what he believes is so important about this whistleblower document. Take a listen.
This is a very serious accusation. This accusation fits a pattern that we uncovered, especially in Romania, where then Vice President Biden visits a country, talks about foreign policy and foreign aid, and then 2 weeks later his family starts getting bank wires from foreign nationals in this country to the different Biden family members. We also want to know what exactly the FBI did to investigate this very serious allegation.
So, John, you just mentioned the FBI is already taking hits with its reputation with the American public. If they decide not to cooperate with this subpoena or turn over this document or work with Comer on it, do you think that trust, that public trust, is just going to erode even further?
Well, I think that Wray knows that Merrick Garland has his back. It's unlikely that Garland will move forward on a contempt citation, even though Garland aggressively pursued contempt violations involving Congress when the targets were Trump officials. So this is going to create tension across the line. But one of the things that makes this more poignant is that the House just released a report that, while it was ignored by many in the media, it has some really shocking details about these millions of dollars that went to the Biden family. The Bidens have been known for years for their influence peddling. I mean, they are really in a class of their own when it comes to this form of corruption. But what the House revealed was this labyrinth of accounts and corporations used to transfer this money, including to some grandchildren. There really isn't an easy explanation of why this complex system was used, other than to try to hide the trail that goes back to these foreign interests.
And last question here. Where do you see this all going? Big meeting on Wednesday. What do you realistically think is going to happen after that meeting is over?
Well, the problem for the Biden family is that when they lost control of the House, they lost control over the narrative. The media is still working their best to help the White House, but the House of Representatives has subpoena authority, and they're not going away, and this won't either. So whether Wray cooperates or not, this committee is clearly going forward, and we're going to learn a lot more in the days to come, I think.
Yep, that committee is dialed in, and we will wait to see what happens after Wednesday. Jonathan Turley, thank you so much for your insights and for your time. As always, we'll talk to you soon.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.